presentation will be recorded. We will post the final presentation webinar online. So for anybody who didn't get a chance to join, or you joined late, or you have other colleagues who want to take a look at it, we will post the presentation online afterwards, so that's not a big deal. All right, well, thanks again for joining. So at this point, what I'm going to talk about a little bit is why the Trackops app exists. You know, as investigators, you've often run into issues with video. Video comes in all sorts of different sizes, comes in different qualities. Different people take them on different cameras. The challenge is, how do you get that video to your client in a consistent fashion? Investigators are often tasked with uploading large videos, raw and uncut, to the central office, where they have to process videos and combine them into one final product for their client. And it's time consuming, it's cumbersome, it takes a lot of technology to do it. And so we set out to try to solve that problem in the best way that we could. If you take a look here, I'm looking at the login screen from the Trackops video app. And what this will do is, if all of your investigators download this app, put it on their computers, they can log into the system using their regular username and password, multi-factor authentication, everything that goes along with that. And then they can drag and drop their videos directly from their cameras or SD cards into the app. And the app, what it will do is process that video in a consistent manner on any device, Mac, Windows. It'll take video from just about any type of camera and allow you to process it all into one app and come out the same on the other side. So what this does is really allow you to create a uniform product across your investigative force that you can then use to easily create final products for your client without too much overhead or extra effort. So I'm just going to walk you through the basics of how this works. And for anybody who's just joining, I see some people coming in right now. If you have any questions or you need any clarification, please drop your questions into the chat box, and we will get to those at the end of the presentation. So the first thing, when you open up the system, there won't be any accounts. So you'll first click Add Account. When you do this, you're going to enter in the same subdomain that you access on the web. So, you know, in our situation, I'm just on a demo, so I would just type demo, whatever your subdomain is, and then the same username and password that you use to log in online. If you choose to remember me, this will save your credentials inside your secure computer keychain. So whether you're on Mac or Windows, there's a secure section where it will store these encrypted. We'll just make it easier for you to log in the future if you're going to be in here a lot of the time, in and out. I've already got an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log right in right now. When you first log into the app, it'll be empty. There'll be no bundles, no groups of folders or anything like that. We'll only have the opportunity to create a new bundle. And so inside the Trackops app, a bundle is essentially a collection of files. So for every day that you would go out and, let's say, perform a surveillance, that would be considered one day, one bundle of activity. So all of your video clips, all of your stills, everything that you're going to create for that one activity is going to be in one bundle. So as the investigator, I would come in here, I would click New Bundle. I would choose the date for when I perform that. It'll default to today, but if if this is Monday and you did it last week, you can choose any day of the week. Then you'll type a title for the bundle. And this doesn't have to be anything. This isn't going to be shared with anybody. This is just something for you so that you know what it is. So you might just say surveillance on John Doe, something like that, where you're aware of what's inside the bundle. Think of it like a folder. At this point, now that you're logged into the system, you're going to be able to find that case inside the system. So you're going to match this bundle up with the actual case inside Trackops. So I will just choose the case. If you need to, you can search, sort, and all that good stuff, and you can find it here. When you match your case up, you just create the bundle. So at this screen here, this is where the fun part happens. So we can start dragging and dropping videos in here and watch what happens. I'm going to walk through just a very brief example with you, and I'll explain kind of what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to drag two videos in here, and they're just real short videos. You can see one's 162 megabytes, the other one's 45 megabytes. When you drag videos in here, it's going to prompt you to apply the timestamp to that video. And this will read directly from the video itself. So it'll be able to determine when that video started and, when it finished and all that good stuff. It will also, by default, remove the audio track. So unless you're doing something like a recorded statement or, witness interview or something like that, you'd probably always want to leave this checked, unless you like to narrate your videos for whatever reason. But these two options will always be checked by default. If you do bring in a video for like some sort of covert video that automatically burns in the timestamp, you can uncheck the timestamp so that it doesn't double timestamp your results. So once you get your videos in there, it looks good. You just confirm it, and you'll notice that it starts to process. You'll see that the normalizing option begins. And so when we see something is normalizing, what does that mean? It means that it's taking the video from whatever format it came in as. So in this scenario, we're as an MTS file, but it could be, any number of many different file formats depending on what camera it came from or anything like that. But essentially, when the video is being processed, it's converting this to a streamable MP4 format. So it's taking this video and it's pushing it into a format that's probably going to be a smaller file size depending on what it started as. It's going to maintain an HD quality if it started out that way. It's going to be applying that timestamp directly on the video, removing the audio track, and everything all in one step. And this will take just a minute to do, but you can see that this video is about 1 minute and 49 seconds. One thing to know about video processing is that it's pretty CPU intensive. So the better computer that you have to process video, the faster it will be. If you're trying to process video on something like a Chromebook or something that's a little bit lower power, you can expect it to take a little bit longer than if you were on a computer with, multi-core processor and a lot of memory and a lot of CPU. So if you notice that your computer is kind of slowing down just a little bit, it might just be that it's using a lot of the resources to process it. But on average, you should estimate that about the length of the video is how long it's going to take to process that video. And for those who have, standardized or who have, processed video in the past, through other apps, are probably familiar with that. But I have a pretty fast computer, relatively speaking. I mean, it's still a laptop, but it's pretty high speed. So it'll process this video pretty quickly. But some people will have, dedicated towers that are able to do this a lot quicker, and some people will be a little bit slower. But you'll notice this video right here is processed. And when video is processing or still normalizing, you can still do other things. You can click around. You can see that it's still processing in here. You can watch videos or start to make clips on already processed videos. So the rest of this will happen in the background. You don't have to sit here and wait for it all the time. But now that this video is processed, what can we do with it? Okay, so right now we have an original video. The first thing you'll probably want to do is watch it. So if I click the video and I click play, this is the original video as it came in on my camera. Like I said, this has been formatted to an MP4. The time and date stamp has been added. It's got very low loss of quality. So this is a pretty high speed product that you could deliver to your client, but this is uncut. This is the original video. It's ready to go. If I wanted to, at this point, I could take this video and upload it to Trackops directly. I could click the upload button here. I could choose my files, and I could send them directly up to the Trackops system, which there they could be sent out to the client or viewed by anybody else, my manager or whoever I have. In certain situations where you're taking a long video, remember this was 162 megabytes, it's now down to 113. But imagine if you had a long uncut video of many hours. This could still be a pretty large file size. And if you have a situation where you're looking at a lot of downtime and only a few minutes of activity, which may be what your client cares about in certain circumstances, you can now come in here and pare this down and edit this down. So I can come into the video. I can create this button at the top that says Create Clips. If I click the Create Clips button, it's going to bring me to a screen now where I can watch and play back my video at any point. But when I get to a spot where I want to actually start to create a clip, I can pause it right here, let's say, and then I can click this little clock button down here. And this will give me the number of seconds that we're in for the video to start. Then I can walk through the rest of this where I want to go. I can drag and move it around wherever I need to. And then I can create a clip end. And so when I do this, it's going to give me the option to create a video clip down here. So if I do that, you'll notice over here it's going to start clipping. And while it's clipping the next clip, I can continue on. So I can say, all right, let's work on a second clip. So I can move down here. Let's say I can create another clip. And let me just play it just a couple seconds. We won't go too much here. Create another end clip. And there we go. And you can see my two clips. You'll also notice these have a little blue line next to them, which indicates that they were clipped. Beyond that, I can also take a still. So if I want to find spots where I have good facial recognition or other stills that I need to present, at any time, you just freeze the frame where you want it, and you can just hit the little camera button over here, and you'll notice a still will populate over here, and you can take as many of those as you want. Once we're done clipping, we can go back to the main screen, and you'll also notice here now that the original that we clipped out of, so here was the first video, we've got these two clips that were created and also this image indicated by the icon here. We could also create another clip from this side over here. So if we want to create another clip here, we can come in here to the create clips option. Okay, start a clip. We'll go a couple seconds, end a clip. There it is. Okay, so now we've got all these clips. So at this point, you have a clip. Now, what can you do with a clip? If you have a video clip, this can be uploaded just like a regular video. So if you only want to present a couple minutes of video to your client or whatever you need to do, you can click the upload button again. You can choose any number of clips that you want, or you can choose everything, whatever it may be, and you can upload those into Trackops. It works the exact same way as if you were to upload a regular file through the actual web. All that data will be preserved through the Files tab on a case, and I'll show you that when we get down with this, finish with this. But the next thing you might want to do is push all these back into one movie. So you've got all these clips, and let's say you got a few different clips. You can click the merge button here on the top, and what you do is you can choose any number of videos, whether they're clips or originals or however it may be, and you can choose those to merge them together. So when I choose these three clips I have here, I click continue. It will give me the option to rearrange them if I want to. By default, it'll just put them in order, but I can go ahead and drag and drop these however I want them to be. I can click confirm, and then it's going to do what we call a merge. And you'll notice that the merge looks a little different. The merge is yellow, and it says merge up here, and you'll know that this is your merged final product. So once you've generated a merge file, this works just like any other video. You can upload it to the system. I can go click upload here, check the box, whatever I have I want to upload. I can upload the clips along with the merge, however you do. Typically, the best workflow, what most people will do is they will go in, they get their raw video. If they're not storing complete raw video, they'll take several clips of activity, merge them together into one final product, and upload it to the system. So I'll walk through doing that right now. I'm going to go ahead and click upload. Choose my merge. I'll also just choose that still that I created just for the fun of it, and I'm going to confirm this. And so this will upload directly to that case. That one's currently processing, and then now it's done. And this one is uploading right now. This is a 20 megabyte merge file at the end. So we significantly pared down the file size. We brought it down from 162 original down to 113, and now down to 20 meg. So you can see the savings and time and effort for your investigators, especially if they're out in the field and they have to upload video to you. It's not always the easiest thing to do. Connections are sometimes not as stable as they should be, and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of get the content out there without this huge burden of transfer. But you'll notice that now these two video, or this one video and this one still, now show as that they've been uploaded. So what does this mean? This means that if I go, and I'm going to just switch over to Trackops real quick. So give me just 1 second here. So this means if I go over to my Trackops system, you'll see these are the two videos that I just uploaded here. Here's the clip. This is the PNG. This is the still that it took. And then I have my video, which I can click on here and watch. So I can preview this directly online. You can watch it in full screen. You can watch it in 2x, whatever you need to do. You can download it to your computer. And these, again, will exist in the Files tab on your case. So every case has a Files tab. All your files are listed here. you'll notice that these were uploaded in the internal access group. So those familiar with access groups will notice that certain types of access groups are available to different types of people who log into the system. The access group that you post into can be configured inside the Trackops app for those who have the ability to do that. Otherwise, it will always go to the default access group that you've predetermined for those individuals. If you need to change the access group, you could always come in here and check the box, click edit, and change it. Once you have the files in the system, typically the next thing that someone wants to do is share it with somebody. So if you come in here under a case and you click new and you click update, you'll choose your access group. Internal is what we were just messing with. You can come in here and this might be, help if I could spell it. Type your title. Type your body of your message. And typically when you add files, you're probably most familiar with dragging them here or adding them here, which uploads them directly. But because these files are already in our system, all we need to do is click on add existing case files, and we'll have those files right here and ready to go. And I can just check the box to add both of them. And there they are. And so I didn't have to do any other work to get that on my case, on my update. And I'll save my update, and here it is, ready to be validated. Just like any other update, your manager will be notified, ready to go. They can validate this just like they would any other update. You can send it out to your client. You can send it to other people. And that's all there is to it. And you get your videos back, and you can make changes to them locally if you need to. But beyond that, there's not much else as far as the editing process. Let me go back to the app real quick. So if I jump back to the app, I'm the investigator. I've uploaded all my data. This is what I have left on my computer. All this stuff is going to be stored locally on the computer. If for some reason you want to save a video out of the app to store it in some other way, or maybe a client says, hey, you have to upload it to this Dropbox or whatever it might be, each video allows you to export. So you can click this little menu over here, and there's some options. One of those is export. You can save that to a another storage location, either on your computer, on a network, or on the cloud. Similarly, if you wanted to back up or save this whole bundle of files, all the edits and originals and clips, you can go back to your bundle list. You'll find it here, and you can do the same concept. You can export this whole thing somewhere. Important to note that these files are taking up disk space on your personal computer. So there's 210 megs of disk space is what it ended up with here. If I'm done with this and the case is closed out and all the data has been uploaded that I need to send, you can delete this right here off of your computer, and that will clear up the disk space. There's also some features in here that will help you automatically clean up stuff that's old, when you want to get into that once you have a lot of files. But beyond that, the concept is that it's straightforward, simple, easy to use for everybody. Everything comes out the same way on the other end. So feel free to allow your investigators to download this to their personal computers and process video through it. It'll make it easier for them to transfer the video to you. Even if at the end of the day, you guys like to prefer to manage the clipping or the editing on your own side, getting it into this original format with the date and time already on it will not only save the investigator a lot of time uploading it to you, but it'll also save you time down the road, because if a video has already been processed in Trackops, then Trackops knows that. So if you were to download another video and insert it into your Trackops, it will be instantaneously processed and ready to go. It won't have to re-encode it or reapply the timestamp or anything. It's ready to go. So that's an easy way that you can share videos across Trackops apps without too much extra effort. So if you're ready to get started and download the app, I'm going to show you here how you can do that. For those who have not downloaded the app yet, if you go to the Trackops website, just trackops.com, at the very bottom there's a link that says download apps. If you click that link, it'll bring you to the download app section of the website, where you can find links to get the mobile app. But the Trackops video app is here, and this will always be linking to the latest version. The app will self-update itself. So inside the program, if there's a new update, it'll prompt you to let it update itself, just like your browser or anything else would. But for people who want to download a new version manually, or they need to get it on a new computer, or somebody who's new, the link download for Mac or Windows is available here for you to do. Just get it from the website, install it, and you should be good to go. I'm going to jump back over here. And beyond that, that's it. You can add multiple accounts into your system as you originally saw. So if you do have multiple systems that you need to log into, you can switch between your systems here at the top. You can toggle those, and each one of those will have different preferences and settings. We have some new features upcoming, something special like watermarking and being able to add your company logo on videos automatically, which will be coming pretty soon. So those will be able to be customized on a per account basis. So if you're running off multiple accounts, you can customize those or tweak those on each individual account. At this point, I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm sure some people have already asked a bunch of questions, so I'm going to go ahead and see if we can read through those. Let's see. Okay. First question is, can we change the format of what the date and timestamp looks like? The answer to that is yes, in the sense that we have, by default right now, 2 different formats. Inside the system here, you can have you can edit your preferences. You have a video preferences setting here, where you can toggle it between a 12-hour clock and a 24-hour clock. This will allow you to choose the date and timestamp formats. We actually have some additional formats coming out soon, so we'll be able to toggle that. Right now, this will be able to handle a typical Canadian default deployment and a US deployment, but we'll be doing some additional timestamping as well to handle other formats as well. Let me just go ahead and answer any more questions that we got here. Are the videos in cloud storage to the video app? I see a prompt on the disk space at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, so currently the videos are stored on your local computer. So these are going to be processed locally. We will in the future have the ability to determine where you want videos stored, but we'll always recommend that you do something on a physical device attached to the computer, just for the ability for the video processor to work efficiently. Transferring video over a network while it's processing is not usually the most efficient. But there is a setting in the system that will allow you to manage your bundles. So you'll be able to see how much your bundles are being, how much storage is being taken on your bundles. Let me just, by default, it's going to show you old ones, like 90 days or older. But if you come in here, you can find all your bundles, see what's going on here. If you check the box, it'll tell you how much disk space's usage is being taken up. And so by default, you can use this to clear out old stuff that you need to, especially stuff that's taking up a lot of disk space if it's doing that. Let's get to the next question here. Someone says, I had a video that was 1.5 hours long. It took 4 hours to process. Could be my PC speed or internet with large files. Is this typical? I briefly mentioned this in the intro, but let me kind of go in a little bit more detail. Most of video encoding, and this would be true whether you're using Trackops or any other app, is very CPU intensive. So if your computer is something that's very low CPU power, something like a Chromebook or something very light, that is going to take a lot longer to process the video than if you're using, like a quad-core processor or something like that. I mean, a standard regular Intel i5, i7 processor should be, as I mentioned, it should be about the same length of the video in terms of how long it is to watch it. So if it's 1.5 minutes or so, 2 minutes to watch it, it should be roughly, give or take, about the same time to encode it. If you have a faster computer, it can be significantly less than that. If you have a really slow computer or you have a lot of things going on at one time, it can take longer than that. If you have any specific problems with that, feel free to please reach out to us directly and we'll be able to help you on your individual situation. Somebody asked, does it automatically remove audio and is there a way to keep the audio? Yep, that was something that we mentioned when you first add the file in there. There will be a checkbox that will optionally allow you to keep the audio in there. So for those things where you want to maintain the audio, it's absolutely possible to do. Someone asked, are there plans to integrate custom watermarks into the video? Yep, I just mentioned that as well. Custom watermarks is coming in our next release. So if you start using the app, pretty soon you'll be able to add your company logo, pick and choose where you want it on the screen, opacity, all that good stuff, and it'll automatically be overlaid. And you can have all of your investigators have the same file on there, and everybody will have the same watermark on all those videos if you want to go that route. Next person says, I usually receive a bunch of raw clips from my investigator that are usually not in any order from the title of the clips. Can Trackops automatically organize my clips by timestamp? Yeah, so depending on when you go to merge the video, it will try to automatically order them by the timestamp on the video. And if for some reason there's a mix-up or something can't be automatically detected, you also have the option, as I went through, you can merge those. You can, by default, these will go in order of the date and timestamp, but you can rearrange them as well. Sometimes people like to say, well, if I have a day 1, day 2, day 3, you might want to put all the day 1s together and the day 2s together and the day 3s together, or ever how that might be. But yeah, it will attempt to organize them for you, but you do have control over that. Someone asked, is there a way to include the Trackops case number on the screen? Currently, there is not a way to do that. I will certainly take a feature ticket on that just to see if there's anything possible in the future, but there isn't a way other than the time and date stamp and at some point here the logo to overlay any other information. Someone says, we tried this when it first came out and had issues with the timestamp being stamped incorrectly. Are there any changes since this came out? Yes, there's been a lot of changes. If you have downloaded the app a long time ago or you haven't updated your app, definitely do so. You can, from inside the app, if there's ever an update, there will be a bar right at the top. There's also a menu at the top that says under the file or the about menu that will say check for updates. Make sure you're on the latest version. There's all sorts of updates behind the scenes to track different types of cameras and compatibility. So if you've ever had a problem with the date and timestamp, make sure that you're on the latest version and that should resolve that. Somebody asks, can you show the end user experience in accessing and playing the video through an update? We definitely did that, walk through and show you the video, how it looks like on the update. If you have any specific questions or how it might look from a specific point of view or a user with certain permissions, please feel free to reach out. But when you have the video attached to the case, it will work just like any other video that you've attached to the case or any other file for that matter. You can play it and stream it directly online, or you can send it out through an email and they can click it and watch it directly without having to log in through a secure expiring link if you have it that way. Someone asks, is there a way to edit clips, like cut out sloppy endings? So the only way to edit clips or to trim videos is to create new clips. So you can create as many clips as you want. You can take a clip from a clip if you need to. So if you have clips already and you want to even clip a clip, you can do that. And all at the end of the day, taking the clips that make the most sense and putting them into a merge is how you can get your perfect video and cut out all the stuff that you don't want to. Are there any other questions? That was the last question on the list. If anybody has a question, please feel free to post it. Otherwise, as I mentioned, this will be posted online so that you can download this and watch this at your convenience. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always email us at support@trackops.com and get any specific questions answered or maybe something that's specific to your situation. But other than that, that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate everybody taking the time. We had a great turnout. And if anyone has any questions, feedback, suggestions, or needs assistance getting this installed or how it works, please feel free to reach out to us. We're glad to do one-on-one screen shares with you or to help you get this installed on you or your investigators' computers. Thanks again, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon.